What's going on, traders? Welcome back to another video. I appreciate you tuning in. We have another small red day. Once I broke the streak of 27 green days, it feels like the market's just going to be losing trade after losing trade. Hopefully not. I want this to be a professional month of stacking more green days than red. I don't want to get in the mindset of, well, the streak's gone, so now you can just do whatever you want. You can trade whatever setup you want. I still want to be disciplined and trade what's been working for me, but just without the pressure of keeping this winning streak, but also trade correctly and trade professionally, right? So we'll go over the markups today. I think I took my best setup, but I took two other setups that probably just weren't necessary, which is what I was not doing in December. I was only doing what was necessary, pretty much more so than not. So let's look at the small red day. We could take it. We'll obviously probably recover it this month. It's very early on. Lots of days ahead of us. But the first setup here, just what are we doing? Right into yesterday's New York VWAP, where great long opportunities, where Austin actually did long it on the break back above New York VWAP here as buyers step in for control. Look at the left side here, the 15-minute, obvious long bias, a nice clean hold of two VWAPs, the overnight and yesterday's New York. This just looks like our healthy pullback pre-market that I say all the time of when we're moving down at the open on a bullish day like this. Okay, nice. Yeah, give me that nice low buy price. I'm not looking for shorts, but we did have like a midnight open price below us at like 67% or so. So I thought maybe we'd go grab that first and then swing back up bullish on the day. So I wasn't saying I don't see the longs today. I just was a little bit too eager to go get that midnight price. Also, with that lingering stat that since the opening range high was formed first and then the low, there's a greater chance that the open range low is broken first. So maybe that got in my head as well as the midnight price. So we got in the short too early, and then that in turn led me to not be able to take the long and rip it back higher in the trend. So I don't know what I was doing there getting into that short too early, right? Because if anything, maybe I should wait for it to get outside the open range low, and then maybe we will go get that midnight. But we're still right on that yesterday's New York VWAP. I can't just solely look at that hold of New York VWAP and say, yes, sellers are in, they're defending it well, because we're still being pinched at that yesterday's New York. That's the first one. But then you look at NQ, beautiful trend. Higher highs and higher lows. I should have definitely gotten in earlier back here on this break of high day VWAP, but I'm stuck in that short trade on ES. So I'm not even looking at this yet. But this is the trade to be in, probably even between ES and NQ. This had the cleaner trend from the jump, right? This was no doubt we're looking for longs. Sellers couldn't take the control down here, so we're making just higher lows today. Break of a high day VWAP, go continue trend. And it's also, you're not chasing the first break outside open range low. You're taking the second. So this was probably definitely the trade of the day. Clean trend from the start, also negating and going against that short I just took on ES. NQ's been bullish here since the open. Why am I thinking ES is going to fall, right? So that definitely could have been better as well. But I'm glad I was able to jump into this and recover it. Like I said, I probably should have gotten in earlier that I could have gotten maybe over, maybe 2R. But instead, I just barely get 1.2R, which is a great trade for me. But regardless, recovering the loss. So now we're scratch on the day. Could have called it there, but there were other great setups. I missed these great setups. This one was probably the trade of the day on NQ, the hold of New York VWAP here, playing the bounce play because we're really bullish on the day. Here's our full retest. Let's go continue the trend. But I'm on coaching calls. I'm on meetings in the afternoon. I don't even see the charts. I don't see any of these setups. So now I kind of have to just make do with what I see. I'm now at the charts at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock trading power hour. What can I find? And I don't even hate the trade. It actually does win. But this is the problem when I trade outside of my comfort zone or the setups that aren't really in my playbook. I'm taking a short here, as we could probably find a mark above it. But notice how this is NQ, excuse me. NQ did not make a new high a day during this 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock push, but ES did. So we have some divergence there. And the more that NQ just struggles to pop higher for that new high a day for like an hour and a half here, and it's a little overextended on the day, led me to believe that we could find some just pullbacks into the afternoon, because we also have an Edgeful stat that we probably don't make a new high day in that last hour. And I was betting on that, or saying we're below the high day VWAP. I can get a stop loss near that high day, saying we probably don't make a new high in that last hour. And it did, in fact, not make a new high in the last hour. Would have went 1R if you held through MOC. But I pulled it early because this is just looking like, if I just clear all the drawings here, I'm very easily talked out of it because all I'm seeing on the day is this going to be our higher low? And now we're back above the high day VWAP. Trend would normally continue there. So why am I in a short? Because it doesn't look like my trade. I'm going against my instincts, really. If this does not look like my setup at all, but there are stats to it making it have some merit to it and it makes sense. But I think I'm just easily spooked out of it because it's not my setup. It looks like I'm fighting the trend. I want to be riding the trend. So should I be in a long right now? So I pulled early for a small loss, and then it actually does come back down and would have won. So bad management on that one, talking myself out of the trade. So you can see small red day, but we'll take it. But really just weird lessons of why am I shorting it that early in the morning into a key VWAP? Why am I shorting in the afternoon even against the trend? And if I'm going to do it, leave the stop where it is, get stopped out when it's invalid. If it's still valid, hold through. So good lessons on that one. We can look at the charts because there were other setups. If you look at the 15-minute here, I think ES had the great lessons of it. You can do it on a 1 minute, I guess, here. So we get the pop for a new high day. A bunch of people took these bounce plays off New York VWAP, which I do like because the trend is definitely bullish. You're almost having like a triple bottom down here. Let's go pop higher off this key level. And in this case, it does not work. You can even throw in a high day VWAP. It's never taken. So if you did wait for a high day VWAP break, you wouldn't have been in this too early and you wouldn't have lost. So that's a plus on this one. But the main lesson I want you to think about is not chasing this short because you see it not break a high day VWAP up here. And now you're sinking below this, what looked to be a hold of the New York VWAP. Do not chase this short. Yes, you could have made maybe some money there if you caught it there, pull it down here. But this is going against the trend that the favorable trades are probably still long. And where does it go to? The same key level that we bounced off earlier on my short. It builds a higher low off yesterday's New York VWAP and continues back into trend because the sentiment's been bullish today. The storyline is bullish. I should still be leaning for longs. And another thing, depending on what time or how low you do short this, the stats do not favor the shorts just because you turn on the initial balance here, the first hour of the day. You can see you took out the initial balance high pretty early on. So that kind of goes against that. We're probably not going to have a double break of the initial balance, which would mean we'd have to go for a new low a day down here, which it probably doesn't want to do. You can go over here on Edgeful and you can see on the initial balance breakout in the past 6 months, filtered by weekdays on a Monday, only 15% of the time. 4 out of the last 26 Mondays has it broken both sides of the initial balance. So probably not likely. So I shouldn't be rooting for these shorts to continue even lower and double break that initial balance. On top of that, like I said, the trend has been bullish today. You can even open up the 15-minute here where you would be shorting it potentially is right here. Clear higher highs, higher lows all overnight. Here was the nice retest at the open. New high a day, pulls back, just makes another higher low off those same two VWAPs, and then continues the trend again. So don't get too zoomed in or sucked in on the 1 minute because you're below the New York VWAP. Keep in mind that bigger picture. Where are we at? What's the structure still building? These are just giving you great long opportunities, and some people even did long it on the 1 minute down here below a New York VWAP. But because you're off that yesterday's New York VWAP, I think it's a great trade. Riding that higher time frame trend, riding the sentiment of the day. But even if you do throw in a high day VWAP on the same trade, you can get in there. And once buyers step in, this time they step in, stop loss at the structure of this higher low, you easily get 1R. You get a nice new high a day. So regardless, the direction was always long today. And it's kind of interesting pairing this. This is at 12 o'clock. You look at NQ at 12 o'clock, that whole time, that pullback is the same one we went over earlier here. Not a doubt in my mind that we're bullish over here on NQ. But if you're watching ES, maybe that dip below scared you and made you want to go for shorts. But if you could just take a quick peek at NQ at that 12 o'clock drop when ES is falling, check out NQ. You say, oh, that doesn't look bearish at all, actually. So I don't want to be chasing this short because NQ looks like it can still pop higher. So waiting for them both to be back in line of looking bullish, you can ride back the trend, and they both have nice bounce plays. NQ probably with the cleaner one, it really cleanly held that New York, so never a doubt the longs probably never didn't work. Where on ES, you definitely could have gotten in too soon, unfortunately. But I think if you did take this trade, it's a good one. You just got to take this loss on the chin, get back in, and you'll make it back. But yeah, interesting day. Unfortunate that I missed these setups because I was on calls and meetings, like I said. And then the same idea, playing that power hour that we probably don't get a new high day in the last hour. We did, in fact, not get it. That's another Edgeful report you could look at is the power hour breakout, right? Power hour breakout. And you can see, we can go by weekday or whatever, but just generally, 26% of the time, a new high day is made in that 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock hour. So I'm not really betting that we continue higher even still in this last hour. So those are my trades today. Like I said, I'm now loaded up on these Tradeify accounts. So if you guys want to grab some, they actually are running a 30% off sale. If you use my code Dyer, you get 30% off any of these accounts. I actually just grabbed 150K because I want 6,000 worth of drawdown. I think that's a great deal for just a couple hundred extra dollars. 3 times the amount of drawdown you would get on a 50K of 2K, $2,000 worth of drawdown. I think it's well worth it because you could really sling some size responsibly because you get $3,700 of daily loss limit. You should never even come close to touching that. 150 micros, good lord. So I'm going with the 150Ks as well as the 50Ks, but definitely the straight to sim funded. So like I said, 30% off if you use code Evan Dyer. Definitely go check them out. I'd recommend at least getting two just so you can at least maybe copy them or trade them separately of different styles, different risk parameters, whatever. But that's what I'm trading with now. No more other companies for the time being. Just fully in on these Tradeify accounts, looking to stack them up and take some payouts, hopefully by the end of the month. But we got some work to do because as you can see by the TradeZilla, we're break even on the month. So we got to ramp it up, increase the size, increase the trades, the quality of trades, getting back to taking trades like this with good size, good trend, and I have no doubt in my mind we'll get there. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, trade safe. See you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.